Hello, this is part 3 of Journeying. It's really, really important that you have looked at parts 1 and 2 first. Today we're going to look at working with power animals. What are power animals? Tradition is that we all have a power animal from birth. I now have a menagerie. I have a collection of such things. Typically, people who do shamanic practice for any length of time have 2 or 3 regular power animals who fulfill different roles, and then others turn up from time to time. They are really, really important to me. For instance, one of my power animals I use to help me teach. No, they don't say anything, but what they do is that they work with the group. They also help when I'm doing healing. I don't do the healing, they do it. And they help me when I'm afraid and when I'm fearful. They teach me and they help me to see, in the sense of spiritual seeing. They do come and go. For many years I had a crow as a power animal who used to sit on my head. As I've said before, I'm not necessarily terribly good at picking up messages from spirit, and Crow's role was literally to sit on my head and bash me on the head when I needed to hear something. I'm much better at hearing things now, and so I see him much less often. Actually, I find that quite sad, but he's still there. He's still there when I need him. So, power animals are found in the lower world. The lower world is an earthy sort of world. My experience of it is that it's a huge land with features of mountains and rivers and deserts and woodland and forest and many, many, many other places. That, however, is my experience. It may well not be yours. We do not experience the other worlds in the same way. One of the things that I am aware of is that in our culture, in the Western culture, we sometimes equate the lower world with an underworld, as in the Greek myths and legends, or the Roman legends, and many others. The shamanic view is not that the lower world is an underworld or hell or purgatory or any other variation on the theme. And one of the things that I find quite interesting is I've done quite a lot of what they call psychoprompt work. That's work about helping people to move on when they've died. And if you work with Western people, when they move on, they move upwards, almost universally. Whereas if you work with some indigenous tribes, then they don't. They work, when they move on, they move down into Mother Earth. So the lower world is not associated with an underworld concept. Personally, the lower world is where I like to go best. I find it really comfortable and a great place to go. But people have very, very different experiences. So we go to the lower world, and that is where we meet power animals. They will then come back with us or not, and we also have different sorts of experience. Power animals are the essence of an animal. So when we describe a power animal, this is one of my power animals, it's Puma. It's not the Puma or a Puma or even called Fred, it's Puma. And the essence of the whole animal. So if you see a power animal which is a mouse, it is the essence of mouse. A bear is the essence of all bears. A diplodocus, if that's how you pronounce it, is the essence of all, is it diplodocuses or diplodoci? I don't know. It's the essence of all those sorts of dinosaurs. And dragon is the essence of all dragons. The power animals that you meet can be large, can be small, can be fantasy, can be extinct, but the power each one gives is the same. So very often when people work with paranormals, they're disappointed if they get a squirrel or a mouse or a hedgehog, and they're really excited if they get a bear or a dragon or a wolf. They all have the same energy. It really doesn't matter. They're there to give you the essence of the energy that you need, and that might not be a great big grizzly bear. That might well be learning to be silent when you need to be silent. So it could be a bat, it could be a mouse, it could be a myriad of things. It's really important that you see what a paranormal means to you. I've got books of paranormals and what they mean, but I don't use them very often. And I think it's really important that you don't use them, because the messages that you get from the books, unless you're getting that message from spirit, are generic. And, well, let me give you an example. One of my paranormals that doesn't turn up all that often, but does turn up, is a hippopotamus. Now, for me, hippopotamus means joy and laughter, and that I need to lighten up and emotionally be creative and all those things. If you look at the web or books, they talk about great abundance is upon you. You need to commit to your goals. You need to use aggression appropriately. Birth of new ideas, spirit contact, lots of things. But for me, that's not what Hippo's there for. Hippo is there for a particular purpose when I need to have a laugh. And why did I experience it as that? Is when I first met Hippo, it was gavolting, it was jumping around in the water and the mud and lying on its back and kicking its legs in the air. So it wasn't a sort of symbolic hippopotamus. It was having fun, and it was have fun. Sometimes paranormals may need to show you how powerful they are. And one of the ways they will do that is by an aggressive stance. So sometimes people will meet a bear and it will, frighten you. The purpose isn't actually to be aggressive. It's to show the power that is there and the power that you may have access to. The other thing that happens sometimes is that you get a venomous animal, a snake, a bee, something that an ant, something that bites you. And if you get bitten by a power animal, or you see a power animal in that context, it's not a problem. Again, it's about giving you their strength, giving you their power. That's not true if you see spiders and all things in other contexts. If I do a journey to find out what someone's wrong with them, I might well see a lot of spiders inside their lungs if there's a problem with their lungs, or with their view of life, or something of that ilk. Very different. So how you use symbology is really important. Paranormals are about a relationship. If you do a journey for other purposes, you may see animals, but they won't be paranormals, they'll be in a different place. Now we're going to embark on our journey. We need to do the preparation as in part one. We need to make sure we've got somewhere appropriate to journey, somewhere we can sit probably, and we've got a notebook and pencil, we've cleansed ourselves, and we've opened the space. Our intention, we need to write down in our notebook, and our intention is to journey to the lower world and meet and develop a relationship with a paranormal. So the intention is to journey to the lower world and to meet and develop a relationship with a paranormal. And what we're going to do, I will talk you through, because there's a degree of complexity. And although I will talk you through this time with the drumming, it might be easier if you actually knew what was going to happen beforehand. So we'll walk down the path towards the large crystal, open the door of the crystal, step through the door of the crystal and close it behind us. And ahead of us there will be 10 steps which we'll walk down and look around and find a journeying tree. And that journeying tree you will enter either through a hole in the roots, or as I do it, I climb up my journeying tree to the top of the trunk, and there's a hole at the top of the trunk. You will then slide down into Mother Earth. I don't know if you've ever been in a flume, but my visualisation is something like sliding down a flume. And at the bottom of the flume, you'll come into a very soft landing on the bottom of a cave. You'll get up, look around, and walk out of the cave. And then look around at what you can see. And you may be able to see an animal straight away, or you may not. You may need to wait or look around a bit. And if you do see an animal, walk over to it, or it may walk to you, and say to it, "Are you my power animal that I'm meant to be meeting?" And it may say yes, or it may say no. And if it says no, thank it, and then walk on, or move on, or stay put. And then when you meet the next animal, do the same thing. So you're in the lower world, and then you will experience what you experience. That will be the main body of the drumming. At the end of the drumming, there will be a callback, and you will say to your power animal, "Thank you very much. I have to return now. Please can you help me to return?" And they will come back and bring you back to the cave quite quickly, mysteriously quickly. I've come from miles and miles and miles in seconds. You will enter the cave, you'll magically slide back up the flume, the tunnel, come out of the tree, and then walk across the grass to the steps, back up the steps, open the door, walk through the door, close the door behind you, and then you come back into the room. So I will talk you through all of that on the drumming, but that gives you an idea of what's going to happen. You may or may not find journeying really easy. Some people do, some people just thrive on it. And it does go in cycles. I know that I've gone through phases where I found journeying really easy and it's very vivid and I can remember it all. And I've gone through phases where it's been much, much more difficult and I haven't been able to remember it all. And you know something's happened, you get quite distressed. Or I do. Two things. One is, somebody said to me, and I think I found it really helpful, that flowers don't flower all the time and the moon goes in cycles. So your ability to do things like journey comes and goes in phases. The other things that you need to bear in mind is that you can be on a journey and also feel like you're in the room at the same time. Breathe in and out and be conscious of the fact that you're trying to follow your intention. Clarify your intention. Keep saying it in your head. Keep saying it in your head. Don't be too comfortable. You go into a theta state when you're journeying and it's very easy to drop from the theta state, particularly if you're tired and it's a nice comfortable place and you're lying on the ground and it's a nice pillow and it's comfy. It's very, very, very easy to drop into sleep. And that's not what you want to do. You are in control. You aren't dreaming. You are in control. It may take practice, however. So if you're struggling, use your imagination, keep clarifying your intention, sit up, keep your head up, and it should come. Some people, when they journey, will be in it. So when I journey, I meet the animals and I merge with them. That may be something you do, it may be something you don't do. So if I go on a journey to the lower world, I will be in the lower world, and I will be personally merging with the animals, and so I will see through their eyes sometimes. Some people don't experience it like that. They experience it like they're watching themselves on TV. And they may still merge with the power animals, but they're still watching themselves on TV. So we all experience journeying really, really differently. There isn't a right or wrong. Go with the flow. Okay, so we're now going to go into the process of journeying, and I am going to talk you through the process. So find yourself somewhere comfortable. Make sure you have a notebook and pencil. I hope you've already cleansed and opened the space, and I'll talk you through the journey. Now close your eyes and sit and be calm, and in a moment the drumming will start. Get up and walk down a path towards the door of a huge quartz crystal dome. Walk up to the door, open the door, step inside and close the door behind you. You know that inside this dome nothing untoward can come in, and you are completely safe. In front of you there are 10 wide, safe steps with a strong handrail. Walk down these wonderful white, safe steps. 1, 2, 3, going down. 4, 5, 6, going down. 7, 8, 9, 10, going down. And you find yourself on the edge of a beautiful, beautiful garden. You can see your journeying tree. Walk up to the tree and look and see where you are going to enter the tree to journey to the lower world. Maybe you climb the tree to the top of the trunk and slide down a hole inside the trunk. Or maybe you see a hole in the roots and slide down from there. Slide down and down and down and down until you find yourself on the floor of a cave, safe and sound. Now stand up and walk to the entrance of the cave and look around and see if you can see an animal close by. If you can, ask them, are they your power animal? And if they say yes, ask them for a tour of the lower world or what teaching the animal can bring to you, which is of benefit. And if they say no, then look around for another animal. When you hear the callback rhythm of the drum, thank the power animal and tell them that you must return to ordinary reality. The power animal will say goodbye to you and take you back to the cave. When you get to the cave, slide up the tunnel, come out of the tree. Now walk to the bottom of the steps, walk up them to the top. 1, 2, 3, going up. 4, 5, 6, going up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Walk up to the door in the side of the crystal, open the door, step through, close the door behind you and walk back up the path and back into this room, back into this room, back into this room. Pat yourself down, stamp your feet. And now write down all that you can remember of the journey. When you've completed that, make sure you ground yourself by patting yourself down firmly and stamping your feet, and remember to close the space. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really means so much to me. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please subscribe to the channel. So very much love. Sarah.